She opened her eyes to the smell of engine oil and metal, her head pounding, her dress torn at the shoulder. A little girl sat beside her, staring with wide, gentle eyes. "Daddy said you fainted," the child whispered. "He said you're safe here. Please don't be scared." The woman blinked in confusion. She was Amelia Hayes, one of the most feared and richest CEOs in the city, yet here she was, lying on a mechanic's workbench in a dark garage, with no memory of how she got there, and no idea why her heart felt strangely safe. For the first time in years, Amelia Hayes had built empires out of nothing. Magazines called her the Ice Queen of Wall Street, the woman who turned failing companies into gold with a single decision. But power came with a price: loneliness, exhaustion, and the expectation to always be flawless. On the night of her company's 10th anniversary celebration, she wore a diamond dress worth more than a house, smiled at every camera, and pretended she wasn't drowning inside. The ballroom was packed, music vibrating against the marble floor. Amelia stood on stage, giving her thank you speech, but her chest tightened, vision blurred, and the world spun. She tried to steady herself on the podium, but her body refused to cooperate. She felt dozens of eyes on her, flashes from cameras, whispers rising like a wave. She tried to inhale, but the air didn't come. Then everything went black. She expected to wake up in a hospital or surrounded by security. But instead, she opened her eyes to the dim light of a garage, the scent of engine grease, and a little girl with curly hair watching her like she was some magical creature. The girl's tiny hand rested on Amelia's arm as if she'd been protecting her all night. "You were shaking," the girl said softly. "Daddy said you were scared. He fixed you." Amelia tried to sit up, wincing as a bolt of pain shot through her head. Where am I?" Before the girl could answer, footsteps echoed from the back of the garage. A tall man with messy brown hair and oil-stained hands emerged. His eyes were warm but cautious. "Glad you're awake," he said. "You collapsed outside the party venue. People were crowding you, taking videos instead of helping. I carried you here because it was closest." Amelia stared at him, stunned. No one had carried her anywhere in years. No one had touched her without permission, and certainly no one had rescued her without expecting something in return. "Why didn't you call an ambulance?" "I did," he replied. "But they said they were backed up. I didn't want to leave you lying on the pavement with strangers filming you. So I brought you here. Name's Ethan." Ethan's daughter, Lily, leaned her head on Amelia's arm. "I held your hand so you wouldn't be scared," she said with a proud smile. For a moment, Amelia didn't know what to say. She had negotiated billion-dollar deals, convinced presidents, and stood on world stages. But she had no idea how to react to a child's innocent kindness. Her throat tightened, but she forced her breath steady. "Thank you, both of you." Ethan shrugged. Anyone would have done it. But Amelia knew that wasn't true. In her world, kindness was rare, and genuine care was almost extinct. Her gaze drifted around the garage, tools on the walls, an old car being repaired, a small table with children's drawings taped over it. The place felt warm in a way her penthouse never did. Hours passed. Ethan made her tea, Lily kept talking to her about cartoons, and Amelia felt something she hadn't felt in years: peace. Not the empty silence of luxury, but real peace. The kind that came from being treated like a human being, not a brand or a symbol. When Amelia finally stood to leave, her legs trembled. Ethan caught her instinctively, steadying her shoulders. Their eyes met, his filled with concern, hers with a sudden softness she didn't understand. "You shouldn't go alone," he said. "Let me drive you." But Amelia shook her head. "You've already done enough." She paused, swallowing the emotion rising in her chest. "More than anyone else would have done." Lily hugged her leg tightly. "Come back tomorrow, okay? Daddy said people like you need friends too." Those words shook Amelia more than fainting ever did. The next morning, Amelia sat in her office, staring at the skyline through floor-to-ceiling windows. Her assistant spoke, employees rushed around, her phone buzzed nonstop, but her mind kept drifting back to the garage, the little girl's hug, and the mechanic who looked at her like she wasn't a trophy. For the first time, her empire felt empty. She replayed the videos online of her collapsing. The world mocked her weakness. Memes. Headlines claiming she was burnt out, unstable, overworked. None of them cared she was human. But two people did: Ethan and Lily. Without thinking, she grabbed her coat and left the office. Her driver was shocked. "Ma'am? Where should I take you?" She hesitated only a moment. "The garage on Westbrook Avenue." When she arrived, Lily sprinted toward her like she'd been waiting all day. "You came back," she shouted, hugging Amelia tightly. Amelia froze at first, then gently hugged her back, feeling something inside her shift, something warm, something long forgotten. Ethan stepped out from under a lifted car, wiping his hands. "Didn't expect to see you again," he said, surprised but smiling. "I don't know why," Amelia said honestly. "But I feel better here than anywhere else." Ethan studied her quietly. "Maybe because here, you don't have to be perfect." Those words hit her harder than any headline. Days passed. Amelia visited the garage again and again. She talked with Ethan about life outside the corporate world, about pressure, about fear, about dreams she never admitted she had. She played with Lily, taught her how to fold paper cranes, listened to her stories. And slowly, Amelia realized she had been living for status, not joy. One evening, Amelia confessed something she had never told anyone. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Scared that if I'm not strong, everything I built will disappear." Ethan shook his head. "Strength isn't never falling," he said gently. "Strength is standing back up, with people who care about you." Amelia's eyes burned, but she didn't look away. As she drove home that night, she understood the truth. She had fainted because she was exhausted, but she woke up because she finally found a place her heart recognized. Not a mansion. Not a boardroom. But a small garage filled with warmth, a little girl's laughter, and a mechanic who saw her for who she really was. And for Amelia Hayes, the millionaire who had everything except peace, that was the first time in years she felt truly alive.